So, how do you know that the Quran also has not been changed? Centuries have passed since then, right?
Well, look, I mean, if you think about it, we have a chain of narration, okay? We're going back to the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. So for a fact, and books like Ibn Jazari's book, Tabaqat al-Qur'an, gives us the names of the people who actually transmitted this information, one after the other, going back to the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. So that is something the Ummah has of Islam that does not exist in Judaism and Christianity. No doubt about it. A chain of narration which connects the Qur'an of the people today with the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ directly. This is the main thing. But having said this, there's also corroborating evidence. I mean, now we've got many palimpsests and different folios and different manuscripts. I mean, recently there was a manuscript that was, as a corroborating evidence, the Birmingham manuscript, which is dated between 568 to 665 or something like that, which is within the Prophet ﷺ's life. The Prophet ﷺ died, 632 AD. And so this was within the time of the Prophet ﷺ's life. Even some of the Orientalists, scholars and stuff like that, they rely on the HCM, or the historical critical method. They accepted that. And so we have a range of different evidences. We have the chain of narration. We have the memorization of the people. We even have inscriptions. I mean, in the early days of Islam, Masjid al-Aqsa, for example, you have inscriptions of verses of the Qur'an on the walls in Masjid al-Aqsa and stuff like that. You have inscriptions. And then you have radiocarbon dated to a degree of 95.6%. Manuscripts going back to the time of the Prophet and his life. So all of that combined, I mean, I think it's really difficult for someone to make the case of a lack of preservation. You can try and make the case that some things have been changed and stuff like that. As a non-Muslim, you can make that case, but you have no proof to be definitive about such a claim. And they know that we can be definitive about believing in preservation to the full extent. They know that. Whereas there's no case in the biblical aspect of such a thing at all, from believers or non-believers. So I think that they know that preservation of the Quran cannot be compared with the preservation of the Torah, which has only been codified 300 years after Jesus. I mean, consider that. There is 1,400 years between the codification of the Torah and Moses. That is the same distance between me and Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. So the first people that wrote it was 1,400 years gap, and they don't have chains of narration like Islam. So what is this? Compare the two. It's unbelievable that we're even having the conversation. So I think the preservation of the Quran is absolutely not in question.